What's cooking Wednesday? What's going on, everybody? Today is the very first episode of What's Cooking Wednesday. And this is the very first time I've done it, as I have just repeated. Um, and so this may be a bit of a different setup than I do down the road. I'm just kind of figuring it out right now. I don't have my mic, walk around in my kitchen. Audio is going to be weird. But the purpose of why I'm doing this is to show you guys what I'm cooking up and what I'm making on a regular basis because I tell you and preach to you all the time about how easy and simple this shit can be. But I think that if you get that visual, it's going to make things a little bit more simple to dial it in. So, what's cooking Wednesday is always going to piggyback off of Meal Prep Monday. And on Meal Prep Monday, we talked a lot about Greek yogurt and how you can use Greek yogurt to your advantage. So I'm going to break down a few different meals that you can make with Greek yogurt. At the same time, I'm going to be cooking up my 2 pounds of extra lean ground beef. It takes about 15 minutes. Once you get the pan hot and the beef in there, it takes about 15 minutes to get the ground beef good, ready to go, cooked up. And this is awesome because Angela and I will put this ground beef into one of these large food storage containers, and we'll keep this in the fridge. We'll also have another one with pasta in it, or we'll do potatoes in that one. And then we have some veggies that are in the fridge ready to go, right? They're not chopped up yet or anything, but you can do that while your food is heating up in the microwave or while you're cooking. And then we have frozen berries in the freezer. So when you have easy, accessible protein sources and carb sources in the fridge, ready to go, all you got to do is pull out those ingredients, those raw ingredients, and then mix them together, weigh them on your plate, and eat it. It's really simple and straightforward. And this is the process that I've been doing since I was 19 years old. Because when I was 19 years old, I worked with my dad on dairy farms. My dad is a bovine podiatrist. He gives pedicures to cows. I would be the helper. I got to set up the machines. I'm on my feet all day. Not all day. It would be a morning thing. It was like 6 a.m. until about 2 p.m. in the evening or afternoon. We would rush home, get all the cow shit off of us and shower, and then go coach football from 3 p.m. until 4:30 p.m. That was 5 days a week, coaching football together at the middle school. As soon as I'm done coaching football, I would go straight from football to working at Rona in the lumber yard, driving the forklift, carrying, bags of cement around. So I'm moving all the time, coaching football, working on farms, working in a lumber yard. 19 years old, you got a lot of energy to burn. And then after my shift at the lumber yard, when Rona closed at 9 p.m., for those of you who don't know, Rona is like Home Depot in Canada. We have Home Depot too. I would then go to the gym from 9 to 11 and do my workout, 2 hour workout, 6 days a week. And I did that 5 days in a row on repeat. Saturday was an 8 hour shift at the lumber yard because I didn't work with my dad. So I worked 8 hours at the lumber yard and then a workout in the afternoon or evening. And then Sunday was my most chill day. I worked 8 hours in the lumber yard. I didn't do a workout. That was my rest day. And I did that for 6 months straight on repeat every single week. And it was very busy. And I found that when I had such a busy schedule, it made meal prep easier because I had to be really dialed in with things. There wasn't so much flexibility that I could go a day or two without meal prepping. I had to make sure everything was ready to go in the fridge. So even though we have the beef in here ready to go, and we have the potatoes in another one, and the rice in another one, and the chicken in another one. So having like 3 or 4 of these is great, but you need to have 6. Because when you get down to the last 100, 200 grams of beef in here, you need to have this getting cooked up in the next day. And then this will go into the second one. So for one day or half a day, you have the old beef from 3 or 4 days ago that you're finishing up, and you have the new beef that you just put in the same day. And you just keep the food stocked up and in the fridge and ready to go. So I'm going to clean my pan. I'm going to bring the computer over here, clean my pan, go through. Sorry for the lighting. I know I was trying to figure this stuff out for you guys. So it is what it is. But I'm going to clean my pan, cook my beef, and talk to you about some meal options that you can have when it comes to Greek yogurt, just like we were talking about on the Meal Prep Monday. So the first meal that I'll talk about is going to be the easiest, simplest one. So Instagram, I'll pull you guys over here too. What's up, Ray? Ray, I owe you the dessert grocery list, I think. Not dessert grocery list, the list. Just shoot me a message on Instagram here right now and I'll send it over to you after, okay? Anyone else who wants 18 different high protein desserts that are really easy to make in 15 minutes, just DM me dessert. I'll send it over to you. So the first Greek yogurt meal that you can make is going to be really simple. It's just a protein bowl. And having, I would say at minimum, if you're a smaller person and you have less calories, say you have like 15 to 1700 calories to eat daily, that Greek yogurt bowl should be about 200 or 250 grams worth of Greek yogurt. Now, if we go back to the Meal Prep Monday and we take a look at the nutrition label of that Greek yogurt, 0% plain Greek yogurt is going to give you 17 grams of protein for only 100 calories. Really good protein calorie ratio. Okay. And that's about 175 grams of yogurt. So the weight of the yogurt is 175 grams. The protein amount is 17. So if you think about it, for every 100 grams of food, you're getting 10 grams of protein. Real easy. So if I have 250 grams of Greek yogurt, I'm getting 25 grams of protein from that alone. That's good, but it's not awesome. And if you're having a Greek yogurt bowl, I suggest making it really high in protein. Because when it's really high in protein, it makes it easier for you to be more flexible with your dinner options later, where you don't have to have a big pile of meat before you go to bed. And I know a lot of people don't like eating massive portions of meat for dinner. So load up on the protein earlier in the day. Front load your protein. Okay. So 250 grams of extra lean, zero extra lean Greek yogurt, 0% plain Greek yogurt, and then with that Greek yogurt, put in 1 scoop of protein powder because the Greek yogurt by itself is plain. It's like sour cream. It's really bland. It's very sour in taste. So adding in a scoop of protein powder is going to give it some flavor and it's going to give it more protein. Really cool. Now, depending on what flavor of protein powder you have a couple options. You can do whatever you want, and I don't really care so much about the flavor. I'll put random stuff together. But if you have vanilla protein powder, first off, you're a psycho. Second off, you could put in some vanilla extract in there if you wanted to make some type of like yogurt, like fruit bowl. So put in some vanilla extract, add some flavor to it that way, and then add a little bit of 0-calorie sweetener, like some stevia, or what do we have? I think we have stevia up here right now. Splenda, it's stevia, it's the same thing. Monk fruit, I've got up here erythritol and monk fruit extract. It's 0-calorie sweetener. So I'll just put in like 10 grams roughly in the bowl with the vanilla extract. And now you have a similar flavor profile as if you bought the flavored Greek yogurt, but you don't have to add extra calories. You don't have to add the extra carbs and the sugar in there. So that's great. So that's option number one. And when you mix that up, you stir that up with the protein powder, which is another 25 grams of protein. You've just made a 50-gram protein bowl of yogurt that took you all of 5 minutes to mix up together, and there was no cooking. And then whatever you else to that is add to that is totally your choice. So add in some fresh fruit or frozen fruit. That's going to give you some fiber. It's going to give you some volume into that meal. It's also going to give you a bit of water. So it's going to hydrate you a little bit too. That's an awesome high protein meal to have. Next option, having a chicken salad and throwing Greek yogurt in there as the mix, as the dressing that you would have as an alternative. So if you were to do this, I would do chicken breast because it's really lean, high in protein. I would have about 150 to 200 grams of chicken breast. And then you're not going to want to have a ton of Greek yogurt because you don't want it to be all soupy. You're just kind of adding it in to mix the veggies and mix the chicken together so that it's kind of this dish with a little bit of mix, right? So I would have maybe 80 to 100 grams of Greek yogurt. And again, with the plain 0% Greek yogurt, 0% being less calories. That's 10 grams of protein per 100 grams. So if you add another 100 grams of your plain Greek yogurt, that's 10 more grams of protein in with your 200 grams of chicken breast. And Jasmine, you can pipe in here if you know the answer off the top of your head. I think about 200 grams of chicken breast is going to be 35, maybe 45 grams of protein. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But now you've got 45 to 55 grams with the Greek yogurt and the chicken. She's saying, I think so, in a chicken salad. And then, of course, when it comes to the veggies, all you're going to do with the veggies is simply add in whatever you like. I would pick one, maybe two leafy greens. So some romaine lettuce. Nutrient value, not really high, but lots of volume and a good amount of fiber. Spinach would be a really good one to add. I can't have spinach because it has too much potassium and I have a potassium problem. But spinach would be another really, really good leafy green, a lot of fiber there. And then you don't have to get really granular with it. Don't obsess over which vegetable. Oh, I need to get this because this one's going to make my eyes clearer. Oh, I need to get this one because it's going to make me poop better. Don't obsess over the details. I heard a term yesterday when I was watching this one video, and it resonated with me a lot. It was stop majoring in the minors. Stop becoming an expert in the little tiny fine details, especially if you're just trying to get fit. If you're just trying to get to a place where you can see your abs, where you're strong enough to, deadlift a couple, like two times your body weight. You want to be able to run 5K without being out of breath. You just want to be a fit, lean, healthy, strong individual who makes fitness a consistent part of their lifestyle, who identifies mentally and physically with being a fit, healthy person. You don't need to obsess over these things. I don't know which vegetables are going to be better with certain vitamins. I could guess and probably be right for a few things, but I don't care because overall, I'm eating a good variety of different colors. I have a few different veggies. We typically just have cucumber, tomato, red onion, and anything else. We'll grab bell peppers. We're not overcomplicating it. We're just making sure that we add that in for some volume, some fiber, and some micronutrients. In between that, in eating a variety of different meats and different types of proteins and different types of carbs, you're going to hit your micronutrient goals. And here's the thing, even if you don't hit your micronutrient goals, if you're right now out of shape, you're not eating well, you're not exercising, then doing anything at all in a positive direction is going to give you significantly better results. So start off with just focusing on protein and eating more volume foods, fruits and veggies, simple shit. Don't obsess over the details. Don't major in the minors. Okay? We've got 2 pounds of extra lean ground beef, and I'm adding a liberal amount of taco seasoning in here because that goes good with beef. Helps bring the flavor out a little bit, making it real easy. So there's Greek yogurt option 2 is a chicken salad. And I highly recommend that when you add that Greek yogurt, you also add in a couple other simple things just to dress it up. Some lemon juice is going to be great. Adding in a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, maybe some dill weed. Add in, sometimes you can go find that ready to go tzatziki powder or tzatziki seasoning. Mix that in with your Greek yogurt, stir it up really good with this with the lemon juice, and then pour that all over your salad. Now you basically just have like a tzatziki dressing that you put on top of your chicken salad. Easy peasy. Okay, option number 2 or option number 3. So we got the bowl, we got the chicken salad. Option number 3 is going to be incorporating it as your sour cream alternative into your wraps. Wraps are something that we don't do too much for no other reason other than we just don't buy the wraps that frequently. But when Angela grabs some wraps like she did yesterday, we're both like, oh, cool, here we go. And now that is going to be your carbohydrate replacement. It's probably going to be less carbs than if you made some rice or pasta or potatoes because just you're not going to have multiple wraps probably in one meal. You're just going to have the one wrap. So your carbs are going to be a lot lower. Your calories are going to be a lot lower as well. And then inside, you're going to have some of that ground beef that's ready to go in the fridge. You got some veggies that you chopped up. Maybe you throw some low-fat cheese on there too. So you're keeping the protein the same, but the calories are overall lower with the low-fat cheese. A little bit of salsa and hot sauce. And then on top of that, you put 1 or 2 good tablespoons of your 0% plain Greek yogurt. It's not the center of the meal. The center of the meal in terms of protein is going to be the beef or the chicken or the shrimp or whatever you made in that wrap. But the sour cream is going to complement that. And it might only be like 50 grams, like a couple tablespoons. You're going to weigh it out, obviously, but it might only be like 50 grams. And that's okay because it's adding in more protein. Even if it's only 5 grams of protein, you're doing that in this meal. You're doing a little bit over here. You had some beans later on in the day. Maybe you added some more cheese later on. These are all like not high protein sources, or maybe they are, but they're in small amounts. But over the course of an entire day, if you do that in 3 or 4 meals, you suddenly just added 20 to 40 grams of protein to your day. And a lot of people, when they start getting into this program, start tracking their food, start developing better habits, they look at their protein goal and they go, holy shit, 150 grams of protein? That's crazy. How am I going to eat all that? Well, really simple when you add in other like non-identified protein sources into your meal. So we'll add the black beans with the plain Greek yogurt and the beef. 3 different things that are going to add to the protein that are going to boost the protein. 4, add the cheese, right? And now it's not just this giant pile of meat that you have to eat down with some rice and a bottle of water. So that's item number 3. Throw it into your wraps as just like a little condiment to add some more flavor. And then the final one that I'm going to share with you is more of a dessert. And I've been doing this dessert. I say that with air quotes, dessert. I've been doing this for lunches and dinners sometimes when I don't have meat prepared. Really easy. It's going to be about I'll give you my portions and then you'll have to adjust for your calories. But what I did is about 70 grams of quick oats, 1 scoop of protein powder, 200 grams of plain Greek yogurt, 1 egg, some cocoa powder, about 10 grams, 15 grams, and some 0-calorie sweetener, about 10 grams of that. And you just stir that whole bowl up of the dry and wet ingredients together. I also put a little bit of water. I would say about 1 cup of water, half a cup of water in there. You want it to be liquidy, but you don't want it to be like a soup. And then get the oven preheated to 450 and put your mixture in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. If you have it in a little bit less, it's going to be more like a lava cake style, a little bit softer, maybe a little bit liquidy on the inside, just a little bit. If you put it in closer to 20 minutes, it's going to be more of a brownie. It's going to be consistent and thick and cooked all the way through. And that was giving me, oh man, at least 60 grams of protein. I don't know the exact number, but between the 200 grams of Greek yogurt, which is 20 grams of protein, the 25 grams in the scoop of the scoop of protein powder itself, that's up to 45 grams now. And then 1 egg is going to give you about 6 grams of protein. Oats are going to give you, at 70 grams of oats, you're getting about 8 to 9 grams of protein right there. So it's those little things like that by adding in some of those carbs like beans and oats, and even pasta has good protein in it, considering it's just pasta. Adding those things in your day, again, we're going to add like 40 more grams of protein total to your day. And that can be the difference between you being shy of your protein and only hitting 70% of your protein target, or hitting and maybe even exceeding your protein target, which is awesome. So making a little brownie thing like that. And again, it's oats, Greek yogurt, an egg, protein powder. Those are the main ingredients. Then you had some cocoa powder for flavor, some sweetener for some flavor. Maybe you throw some cinnamon in there or something like that. But the calories are going to be pretty moderate. The protein is going to be really high. And it's essentially a whole foods meal, excluding, the protein powder. But if I was going to have some processed foods, I mean, protein powder is probably the best processed food you could ever eat. And you could eat that every single day. This giant chocolate brownie with lots of protein in it, made of all real food ingredients. You could substitute out the oats and you could put in some flour if you wanted. If you did that, I would just say you might as well add in some protein pancake powder or like flour. So we use the Kodiak cakes. You can get that at Costco, obviously. And I would do, again, 50 to 80 grams of that. If you wanted to make it fancy, you could make a little peanut butter sauce with some peanut butter powder and a little bit of water or milk and stir that up and drizzle that over the top. And again, it's a giant Whole Foods, so high quality food source. You don't have to feel guilty over it. It's not bad food. It's not about the processed shit. Whole Foods, high in protein, takes you, let's say, 25 minutes in total to prepare from start to finish, including the cooking time. And you could have that for lunch or dinner every single day. Like, pack that with you, put it in your container for work, your lunch kit, and have a giant brownie for lunch every day. And hit your protein targets and hit your fiber. Stay nice and full. Something you could eat every single day guilt-free. Those are my 4 options for you for what you should be eating and how you can use Greek yogurt to hit your protein goals and have a different variety of foods. You don't need to have a million different meal options. You don't have to get really extravagant and fancy and complicated with your meals. They just need to be simple, easy to make, and high quality. And if you do that, mix a couple things around each day. Sometimes you do the brownie, sometimes you do the wrap, sometimes you do, the yogurt bowl. If you're shorter on time, do something easier like the yogurt bowl. If you have more time and you want to, make a nice little wrap, go ahead and do that. When you do that, over time, you're going to get leaner, you're going to get stronger, and food is not going to be something that you're worried about anymore. So that's it. I hope that you guys got a ton of value from this. Post your biggest takeaway inside the community. If you're a client, if you're not a client, you want some help, shoot me a message and I'll see what I can do. Peace out.